faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane. It's Zeeverfett.
What's up, everybody? It's Ryan again here from the Zeeverfett channel. We are drawing Blue Beetle from the new, I guess, Warner Brothers Discovery movie that's coming out with Zolo starring. It is not completely in jeopardy whether or not this movie is going to come out or not, but it is a character that I do like, and I absolutely loved the design of the costume. I thought it was pretty screen accurate, so I thought that was pretty dope. Anyway, so I thought I would pay a little bit of homage to it, even before the movies come out, just from, I guess, the art department, from doing a fantastic job of bringing a character from the pages of the comic to the cinema. But yes, I mean, you know, there's been some crazy things going on. I guess they were filming in Puerto Rico, and maybe some violence broke out or whatever among the city, and just, you know, the cast and crew just happened to be there. Other than that, I hope it's not in any sort of release jeopardy like the other movies from Warner Brothers have been. But anyway, just to jump on here, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to talk a little bit about my process. I was blocking out the character from just a reference photo of Zolo. So I was like, hey, you know what? He's just kind of standing there. I'll do the same. So I started off just sort of using him as a reference, but again, also trying to give sort of a comic book look to the from the live action. So sort of a reverse. But anyway, yeah, so I'm just sort of blocking him out and adding little bits of detail here and there as we move along. The Blue Beetle character for me is pretty dope because I think he's, I guess, out of all the characters, the closest to what Cyborg would kind of be, except, you know, Jaime can hide his technology back into the scarab that's on his back. I think it's a pretty cool character to introduce into the universe. And or, you know, the cinematic universe going forward. Hopefully he does remain a character that can be utilized, because I do think he is sort of DC's answer to Spider-Man. Just he's just not as popular, and the reason why he's not as popular is because they don't invest too much time, energy, or care into really showcasing the character and growing an audience. And I think that's really all Blue Beetle really needs is just more exposure, and just allow for, you know, people to sort of, you know, kind of get to know him and learn about the powers and things like that. The relationship between Jaime and the Scarab. And this Blue Beetle, of course, is different from the other Blue Beetle. I forget his name; it escapes me. I'm not gonna look it up. But yeah, the one that used to hang out with Booster Gold, which is another character that I really like. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just sort of what I do is I go over and make a rough sketch of the character. Then I just, of course, you know, turn it to blue line. I'll go back over it, refine the details, and then if I feel like it, and I did here in this image as well, I'll go back and refine it yet again. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm satisfied with the first blue line, and then my you know, my drawing on top of that. But if I feel my sketch is just too rough, and it needs to be a little bit more smooth, that's one thing that is sort of my style, is that I like for my characters or my drawings to have smooth lines, very clean. I don't like to leave everything too messy. It is something that I'm working with because, you know, hey, you know, sometimes messy is good. but that's not the case for this one. This is a drawing that I've made for the project that we're working on, Project Justice League. So we shall see Blue Beetle in that project. Just like, my previous drawings, you saw, Batgirl, of course, hey, that got canceled, but Batgirl does still exist in this universe. There was a Batgirl in the Batflex script, so I was like, you know what, we can still use Batgirl. But yeah, so far so good with Zolo. So hopefully, we get to see it, and that'd be amazing. At sometimes, drawing on the pad, my pen can sort of accidentally touch the slider, so it kind of moves my my drawing and shifts it over a little bit, and I have to kind of readjust and move it back. But that only happens a couple times in this one. But I normally wear a glove that conceals the palm and last two fingers, ring finger and pinky finger, so that it helps prevent that from happening, because it is a touch screen. And yeah, so it can get a little bit annoying. But anyway, so we're going to continue here. I'm just adding a little bit more detail. I'm not doing any strong blacks or anything like that on this. We have a colorist, and he usually does that for me, and I really want to keep our drawings and everything consistent, so that it doesn't look that jarring when or if I were to make the blacks, it'd be completely different from his. And I'm not as proficient in that, because that's sort of not my background, but I'm more gearing toward that, and I'll be doing that a little bit more later on. But again, if you guys have any questions on how I got into it, how I choose these poses, anything like that, I don't know, whatever. I chose this pose here. Like I said, I saw a picture of Zolo in costume. I said, hey, let me just sort of use that as reference, and I'll just draw that. His symbol here is not really much of a symbol, but I wanted to make it look like it was the same consistency, same thickness on both pectorals, and yeah, and I'll go back and I'll refine it yet again later on in this sketch. But yeah, you can definitely see, hey, it's coming together. It's kind of looking like familiar. So anyway, but yeah, no, hey, just sit back and enjoy the ride. Those are his little God, what do you call those things? Little not talons. Feet. We'll just say feet. And he's just sort of resting his feet or legs on the body. But yeah, no, I really dig this character. This character is pretty dope. Black Beetle's pretty dope. Green Beetle is even dope. But I really do hope that they sort of double down and kind of open up this lore and just start building on it. I think you can have a lot of pretty interesting stories, and yeah, a lot of people aren't aware of who Blue Beetle is, so it might be a little bit difficult to get people in theaters to go see it. But I think if you make a pretty good product, word of mouth will allow for people to just go check it out. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going through and adding more of the detail that I see from the costume, and just doing this line work. I'm not trying to get too incredibly detailed, because there's really no point in that. You can go further, but I mean, for the project that we're working on, it's not too intense. We just want to make sure that we get the overall feel of these characters, and just really give them a good representation on screen. So that's kind of what that's the main focus. And here it is. And drawing hands is not my strong suit, and that was clearly an error right there. And yes, if you can tell when you see those little blurps on the screen, that's me using OBS to record this. It's very good software. It's free, and you can do it. It's very versatile. You can do a lot with it. I'm going to be using that a lot more with my streaming as things go. But yeah, no, drawing hands, just configuration. If you run into any sort of issues, if you are if you're an artist and just have issues with drawing hands, best thing to do is if you don't have any sort of reference to articulate from, as far as like, any sort of, let's say, it's not a dummy, but it's like they sell those little dolls that you can, maneuver around or whatever. If you don't have that, just go take a photo of yourself in the mirror. You put your hand in the configuration that you want, come back, open up your phone, look at what you took the picture of, and try to draw from reference. Drawing from reference is always the best thing to do. And if you drawing from imagination, you'll get there. And drawing from imagination can get you so far, but if you start getting perspective issues or sizing issues, then it's always best to have some reference, some point of reference to look back on. And I think for the most part, for this costume or this pose, the hands are sufficient. They do their job, and it's pretty dope. Yeah, so I mean, again, still roughing out all of the detail from the costume. I did draw Blue Beetle last year, again for the project, but when I drew that, there was no reference, there was no costume, there was nothing available. I just drew from looking at the comics, and so there's subtle differences between the two, but for the most part, like I said, for this project, it's not really going to be that noticeable to anybody. It's noticeable to me because I know what know what to look for and know what I did differently. But for the most part, you're only going to see it for maybe a couple seconds here and there, and it's not really, I don't think, going to make too much of an impact, but we'll see. But yeah, here it is. I think I'm going to blue line this in a minute. Yeah, I turned that layer off, and I was like, you know what? Blue line. Boop. And then yeah, I lower the opacity a little bit so you can make it a little bit easier to see the black lines as you're drawing them. So here it is. This is sort of my refining, and this is how you do it. You just kind of go over. You choose the lines that are the best representation of what you're going for. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And it can be a little bit rough, but for the most part, I do try to keep things clean, pretty clean. I like clean. I'll go back and refine some of this. Don't like that. But yeah, putting sort of pseudo claws, like these claws here remind me of Thundercats. And God, that's such a great show. They never did make a live action movie about that. It's kind of a shame, but yeah, no, that's sort of where I got the idea for these type of like suit claws without getting into too much detail. I was like, you know what, this gets the job done. And so yeah, so on this sketch here, you will see a lot of erasing of lines and combining of lines just to sort of get that clean look, like right there on the shoulder. Just kind of removing that. There you go. And when you're drawing, you don't really have to go sort of any direct flow. Go wherever you want. You don't have to start from the. Usually when I'm drawing, I start from the head, go down to the chest, torso area first, and then the appendages after that. Wait, I've come up with drawings that are not based on that as well. So and they come out perfectly fine. But typically when I start a sketch, I typically start with the head first. That's the focal point. That's where everybody, that's the first place people look at, is the head. And of course with Blue Beetle, that is no exception. His head is the most interesting part of his body. And then here we go again. I'm gonna start on that. And yeah, I'm gonna refine. Yep. And make these lines very. I'm trying to get the thicknesses right, so that it looks. What do I want to say? Not ambidextrous. What is it? Golly, I'm at a loss for words. It's symmetrical. Bam! It looks pretty symmetrical, even though this is sort of a perspective drawing. Everything is sort of proportion correct. And because if it's not, it's an eyesore, and a lot of people would just kind of point that out and like, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't look quite right. There we go. Nope. I try to make long, swift, strokes for the lines, just to make it look better. I don't like scratchy lines. I like things that look a little bit more streamlined, but can't always get that. Yep. And then later on the final sketch, I did add the tendrils, I guess, but that is not in this video because that was sort of an afterthought. It wasn't in the photo with Zolo, so I was like, you know what? It's just something he needs. You need to see the what are the antennas or hands, claws, I guess, of the scarab. And for something technology based, it is pretty cool to see sort of an organic like cyborg. This is pretty much cyborg but organic. I'm going to come back and clean this up a little bit. And usually, and the reason why you see me going back to OBS, I do start and stop recording just in case. I've learned that you save early, save often. Sometimes, you know, files can get corrupted, whatever. So I try not to just do one long recording. If there's anything that that needs to be taken out, any mistakes, anything like that, you know, I do try to make it to where, hey, I can just add these videos, and it makes it easier to find other things like mistakes or whatnot. So. Again, gotta be clean. Gotta be clean. Not really. There we go. That looks better. Now, there's a couple times when you saw the page kind of jump over. It's because it did somehow, even through the glove, it did sort of still catch my body heat, my signature. It does kind of get annoying, especially when you're just drawing. But you know, hey. Just gotta work with it. Either that or get a different glove. I don't know. The gloves I use pretty good. It cut down considerably. It's way better than using no glove at all. There we go. Another good thing to do, which is what I'm doing here, is just sort of trying to increase my speed. It helps you with accuracy, and also, you know, just sort of going in and saying, hey, you know what, I'm being a little bit more confident, bold with my strokes, with my gestures, with just overall approach to the art. Because I mean, you know, one of the problems that I've always kind of sort of gotten myself into is that, hey, I'm non-committal to certain lines or whatever, so I'm just like, hey man, you know what, I need to go ahead and commit, you know, just put that line down confidently and draw. So again, you know, just trying to mirror the thighs, and Oops. Yeah, no, there's an issue there. Just noticed that. Oh well, whatever. I'll fix that in post. But yeah. So almost finished with this photo here. Again, I want to thank everybody. This is this was a fun one to draw for me. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching it as well. Yeah, and we'll as soon as we get this thing inked and colored by Mariano, we'll put it up and let everybody see. Maybe this is something we hold out on for Project Justice League Part 2. Guys, if you haven't checked out Project Justice League, please go to the 4 Nerds Network and check it out and let us know what you think. Part 2 will be coming out very shortly. Thanks again. This is Blue Beetle, and hopefully we'll get to see this movie. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what you saw, check out our other videos and subscribe for more. Be sure to leave your comments and suggestions down below. Don't forget to check out our TeePublic and Teespring store. And a thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Your support is much appreciated. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. This is Zeeverfett, signing off.